Hey, very good evening and good day to everyone who's watching. This is Don Sherman live coming out to you with Chat with Don. Yeah, that's the name of the program, and I'm very happy to be here on a live telecast. And I would like to get you, all of you, to watch this live telecast. We have a very special guest on this day, on the 20th of October. That's the day. So I want to make sure that everyone who's watching here and joining, today is the International Chef's Day. So International Chef's Day celebration, and especially everyone, we would like to wish a very happy International Chef's Day. Those who are watching from different parts of the world, and I want to make sure all the chefs are doing their part to make food and serve food. So I want to exclusively wish all the chefs, to all of you, to be wish a very happy International Chef's Day. So I have a very special guest star tonight's show, which relates to the food and of course serving food, preparing food, and culinary art, I would say. So I want to get her online. Let me invite Penny in a short while from now, and she's going to come and have a live chat with me. So those who can part of the program and live telecast, just watch and experience the lifestyle and her career and her story. It's definitely an inspiring story for all of you. I'm sure most of you are enjoying staying home, or maybe staying home comfortably and safely. And especially the lockdown is gonna over in another couple of days' time. So fingers crossed, and to have a safe, ordinary lifestyle, which is coming out another 2 days' time. That's right. So I hope that everyone is enjoying this live telecast. By the way, if you're just joined now, my name is Don Sherman, and I'm here to give you some live experience with a live chat with exclusive personality, which is gonna come and give the best of her story, and of course her experience and whatnot, her lifestyle experience and story, and to share with you. Let's wait where she's gonna join in a very short while from now. And also, I'm going to upload this video to the YouTube channel of mine. That's Don Sherman Official. And if you happen to watch my YouTube channel, there'll be a lot of other videos, other chats which have been done. So you can get involved with chatting, or maybe I would say commenting, and so many interactions can be done. So this is basically to interact with the network, and to get some experience of exclusive personalities, and to share your thoughts and comments. It would be really appreciated if you can do that. So let's see. I believe Penny will be here in a very short while from now, and maybe she's on the way. Yes, she's on the way, and she will be joined to the live chat in very short while from now. So as I mentioned, International Chef's Day celebration is happening right now. I was just in the virtual conference, as well as a celebration platform with the Australian Culinary Federation and the World Chefs Association. So most of part of the world, they are linking different associations and the federations together on the world format in the virtual platform to celebrate the International Chef's Day 2021 on this day, on the 20th of October. So the person which I have mentioned and which gonna join us in short while from now is another personality who's a professionally qualified lawyer, and turned into a culinary person, where she made a platform called Drool, where she made so much of wonderful happenings. In fact, many chefs, many culinary enthusiasts, and of course people who love to get part of cooking from home, and even by events. So they are part of this group called Drool Australia. So the Drool experience and her lifestyle and her story of the career path is gonna come out with live chat with Penny. So I'm working on to get her the link, and most probably she'll be here in very, very short while from now. And we're gonna get this exclusive personality in a short while from now. So you can come out with your chat, why not? Comments and maybe whatever you feel it. And as I mentioned earlier, you got my YouTube channel and other social medias as well. And yes, you can get me form in social media to join with me, and also to come out with various interactions, maybe comment, or maybe you can send inbox messages, and you can watch my earlier chats from YouTube as well. And my Facebook page is Don Sherman, the Singing Chef. And also I have another profile called Don Sherman, and you can find me on the LinkedIn as well. And I'm working currently as a trainer for culinary students, culinary student certificate 3, and especially for the international culinary students, and working here in Melbourne. So my hands are always spread to all across the world, and I'm happy to help and happy to give assistance who would like to come out within cooking, and of course part of singing as well. Here she goes. Very
Hello,
good evening,
Don.
Penny.
Hi. I'm
So
sorry for
good
the
to have
technical
you.
difficulties. I was trying to accept the request, join the
Yes,
request, and
that's right. I can see because everybody's jumping all over to the platform. Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to hear from you. That's why. Hi, Penny. How are you doing? A very good evening to you once again.
thank you. I'm doing well, Don. Thank you so much. Looking forward to some freedom in Melbourne to come very soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just mentioned that we're gonna open the gates another couple of days' time, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be a very, very exciting news, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's somewhat little bit of trepidation and a little bit of anxiety surrounded by going into freedom again, because I feel like we've been accustomed to living in this routine and in this bubble where we've felt safe and we've adapted. But it's really nice that we're going to get some freedom. And once again, we just have to keep adapting.
Absolutely. In fact, I had a bit of a doctor's appointment this morning, and I went outside and I felt myself, oh my God, I'm driving a bit nervous and a bit different, because
Yeah.
after staying at home for long days and get my wheels on the behind, and I feel that it's different, and ending up with parking in a slot. And I did my appointment and I came back and I found a parking ticket as well.
Oh, no.
That's right. That's an experience, not a failure. It's an experience. Now, Penny, I want to tell you, my name is Don Sherman, but I have a long surname, right? It's
Oh,
called, it's called Hettiarachchi. It's a Sri Lankan surname called Hettiarachchi. Wonder whether you can pronounce it.
Hetiarachi.
Hettiara, Hettiarachchi. You got it.
Now, Don,
Now,
the reason why I'm so good at pronouncing it is because I too have a very long surname.
that's what I want to come into that, because I love to hear that the surname from your pronunciation, because I don't want to mispronounce that. What's your surname?
I wouldn't be offended. I've had people mispronouncing it my entire life, so that's okay. I get everything under the sun. But my name is 12 letters long, and I come from a Greek heritage, and it's pronounced Hadji Kyriakou. Give it a try.
Oh my God. Hachikira too. No.
Hadji Kyriakou.
Hachikiriyahu.
Perfect. That's
Got it.
great.
So it's a bit similar to Hettiarachi.
I was going to say it's the Sri Lankan version. It's the Greek version.
All right. So that's what. So I just got your surname. Now, starting from your surname, let's begin your story, because I know that you are such an inspiration person. The day I met you, you are just a package. You are not just one talent or a one knowledge. You are just a package. You got so much of capabilities, knowledge, and talents, and you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. Before that, we'll start it from your school age and how your story began, Penny.
Yeah. Well, I'm very flattered to hear that, Don, because sometimes having many many gifts or many talents or many things you like can actually be somewhat of a curse. And I've always been somewhat a little bit jealous of people who are very good at, you know, a few things, and then they pursue those passions, and then they transfer that into a career, and it's a comfortable career and it's very streamlined. Whereas for someone like me, I love so many different things. So it's always like, well, which road do I go down? Which road do I choose? And so sometimes it's been quite difficult to kind of accept which path I should take. And it's actually brought, you know, some real difficulty in my life. But I think that when you follow your passion, and I'm a big believer in, if things are meant to be, they will fall into place. And when you find something you're passionate about, you feel it in your soul. And right now, I feel like at this point in my life, being a entrepreneur and a business owner and working with people and working in the food industry is exactly where I need to be.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. So how did you get conversion of your profession as a lawyer to convert into an entrepreneur and a business owner on your own?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I loved public speaking, I loved performing and acting, and I really loved the subject legal studies. I always loved the movie Legally Blonde and To Kill a Mockingbird, and so it kind of just made sense for me to go down a legal path. And so I ended up pursuing a law degree in Melbourne, and I really...
Hang on.
And I ended up...
I think you're muted for a while.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay, so basically I studied law at university, and I really gave it my all. I'm a person that if I really want to achieve something, I throw everything I have into it. So while I was at university, I was working in prisons. I was actually delivering presentations and working with inmates and making sure that they had equal justice. So working with all walks of life. And I also worked in a retail role. So I was always surrounded by people, and I knew that working with people was something that I was very good at. And I loved making connections with people, and that is people who were in my pajama shop that I was selling pajamas to people that I was helping in prison. These are prisoners that I'm giving legal advice to, essentially. So I always knew people was my passion. And when I graduated university, I ended up practicing, and I specialized in criminal and family law. While I was in the law, though, I loved certain aspects of it. I loved the advocacy. I loved representing people in court. I loved the notion of fairness, and that I could help create change. And I think when a lot of people ask me, why did you go into the law? My two answers were mainly because I want to help people, and because I want to make a change in my career. And I think that still to this day, those aspects are very, very true. So while I was in the law, Don, I grew quite frustrated because I didn't feel like I was really helping a lot of my clients. I ended up learning that the law in the industries I was in was some more of a business, and that, you know, there was a lot of disappointment, and I found it really hard to do things like separate children from their families or break up marriages. And I'm a very empathetic person, and I just felt like for me, you know, I couldn't really detach. I couldn't leave my work at work and then come home. And for a lawyer, it's very important to have a level of empathy, but also be able to detach. And so for me, this wasn't a skill, because I just loved these people so much that I really wanted to help them, even when I couldn't entirely help them properly. So while I was doing the law, I'm also a very creative person. And so it was very important for me to have a creative outlet. So I was also dancing. I love dance. I was teaching dance, and I also love food. And so I was also doing some food blogging. And I started blogging around 2014, where the Melbourne food scene in terms of blogging was really just beginning. So I was very, very fortunate that our food blog at the time took off, and we were being invited to restaurant openings and menu launches and meeting people in the hospitality industry and PR advertising. I loved this lifestyle. I loved meeting these people, and I loved meeting chefs and seeing their passion for food. And I thought, wow, this is an amazing industry and something that I love being a part of. And it was so funny because so many people would say, oh, you must be in PR, you must be in food, you must be a food photographer. And I'd say, no, I'm a criminal lawyer. And they were like, what? How does that make any sense? And so I listened to that and I thought, wow, okay, so maybe I'm not getting that really soul satisfaction from the law that I am in the food industry, which at the time was very confusing because, I studied about 6 years to become a lawyer, and then another year of, my articles, and then another 4 years working in industry. And, I know my parents worked very hard to give me my education and help me. And so I had a lot of people to let down. And I am very much a perfectionist, and I take a lot of, I'm a little hard on myself sometimes. And so I think I stayed in the law a little bit longer than I should have, purely because I was doing it to please other people and not let anyone down. But in my heart, I knew that right then and there, the law was no longer for me. It wasn't feeding my soul, quite literally. So I needed to have my soul fed elsewhere. And I took a very brave leap of faith, as a lot of people in the legal industry have done. And I said, you know what, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to explore some other categories. And as I said earlier, because I have so many interests, I thought, where do I start? What do I do? And so what I did was I put lots of different doors in front of me of things that I was interested in. So I put a performing door in front of me. I put a PR door in front of me, an advertising door in front of me, a fashion door in front of me. And I went to all these people in these industries and sat down with them, had a coffee and said, tell me about your industry so that I can know whether it's the industry for me. And slowly, it was a process of deduction. So I thought, I like this about this role, but I don't like this. And I like this, but I'm not sure about this. So slowly I started to close all the doors until one door was in front of me, and that was the food world. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go through this door. And it actually wasn't until a friend of mine told me, and this is why you should always talk to people, always ask questions, always share your story, because you never know what someone else is going to impart on you. I'm a big believer that in this life, people are here to either impart wisdom on you or for you to impart wisdom on them. And so I feel like it's so important to just always be open and willing to take on new opportunities. So I spoke to a friend and I said, I want to go in the food industry, but there's so many other things I want to do, all these other hats I want to wear. And she said, well, have you thought about a role called business development? And I thought, no, I've never heard of this role. What is this role? And she said, well, you wear lots of hats. You can, it's a sales role, it's a marketing role, it's a people person's role, it's a role where you can account manage. It's basically wearing all of the hats in one role. And I thought, that's what I need. I need to be able to wear all these hats, try all these different skills that I have in this role. So very long story short, Don, I love a chat, so wind me up when you need to. But long story short, I ended up finding a business development role at a company called Zomato. Have you heard of Zomato, Don?
No, not exactly.
Okay, so Zomato is an Indian-based company and it has just spread its wings all over the world. It's a food platform rating and review. And so if you kind of want to look up a restaurant or rate a restaurant, you go to Zomato. So I knew that I really had this interest in the tech world, and I knew that there was a part of me that wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I thought, okay, well, tech, startup, food, that ticks all my boxes. Let's try this role. And so I worked at Zomato for a year, and I was working very closely with hospitality industry. So my job was I would go in certain pockets of Melbourne, and thankfully I was very lucky. I got all the hot spots in Melbourne. So I got neighborhoods like Fitzroy, Richmond, Brunswick, Northgate, like all these very happening food suburbs. And I was knocking on their doors and talking to the chefs and talking to the restaurants and saying, tell me about your menu. Tell me about your cuisine. Tell me about your food photography. Tell me about your life. Tell me your story. And I loved this idea of this industry. And it really made me passionate. And I'd sit down with the chefs and end up telling them, why don't you do this to better your business? Why don't you add this to your menu? And it was really, really great. So it was, I really loved that role. And I learned that, yes, the food industry is for me. And so then what happened was, very serendipitously, I got an offer to move to New York and spend some time living and working in New York. And I always wanted to live overseas. At the time, I thought it was London, but I thought, New York, this is the universe giving me another door to go through. So I'm just going to walk through it. So I went to New York and I found a role very quickly, again, very serendipitously, and it was at a food experiences platform. And this was a very interesting concept for me. I'd never heard of this before. It was kind of like a red balloon, or kind of like a platform where you could gift experiences. And we would do things like cooking classes, wine tasting classes, cocktail making classes in New York City. So I was just living and breathing the dream here, working at this amazing startup company in New York City in the food industry. Again, tick, tick, tick. But the amazing thing was, Don, I just wasn't at any startup company. I was working in a WeWork building, and it was actually a Columbia University startup lab where I was surrounded by young founders and entrepreneurs. So if that's not the universe being like, you need to do this and you need to learn from the best, and young people who are passionate and willing to take risks, all the things that I needed to learn, I went, okay, I can do this now. I can start a business. So I was truly inspired by how everyone else was taking these risks to follow their dreams. And I thought, you know what? This idea doesn't exist in Melbourne. I've never seen this in Melbourne. And I loved how through a food experience, through a simple cooking class, we would have strangers come to this class. They didn't know each other, and they would learn how to cook. They would share food stories. They would open themselves up. And at the end of the class, I'd be looking around the room and they would be smiling. They'd be hugging new people. They'd be exchanging phone numbers. And it was the most magical thing that food brought total strangers together to just enjoy life. And I thought, wow, that is the secret sauce. I want to be a part of that. And so again, another stroke. And I ended up, funnily enough, being one of the last Qantas flights home last year in March, late March. And I came home and this business. And yeah, and I've never looked back since. And that's how this all started. That's my story of how I got here.
That's amazing, Penny. I noted down few things: your determination and your never give up attitude, and listening to people and finding the information and meeting the right people until you get your final results. And all of that came as a package, and your never give up attitude definitely make you to where you are standing currently. And I've heard, when you're listening to a story, choose an art that you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. There's something that you
Absolutely
do
true.
that you love. You don't have to work a day in your life. That is what something that I heard when I was a young a teenage, that I'm looking for some a trade or a profession. So something that I related to most of your pink points, because I always wanted to do something that I like. Even though I got offered many things, I wanted to do something like that I really love, and entertaining is my business, entertaining is my passion. So something like that. Now, Penny, now I'm definitely sure in your pathway to now would have never been a garden of roses or a red carpet. There may be lots of disappointments. There may be lots of backwards, and lots of issues came through. Would you like to share people who think that, oh, come on, it's me. I'm the one who's most a troublemaker. I'm getting so much of less opportunities. Why it's me? So anything that you want to share about that?
It's a brilliant point. And I think that my big key lesson that I would go back and tell myself is, don't be so hard on yourself, because you're trying something new and you're giving it a go. And I really think that if you are being your true, authentic self, and you are really just trying your best, and you're not putting on an act, you're just giving it all your go and talking to people and sharing your dream and your passion, if you are being authentic about it, then people will notice and people will help you and support you. And I've been very, very grateful, because I have an amazing team of chefs, you know, Don included. And I think that they inspire me, and I genuinely want to help them. And hearing words from them of support, like, come on, Penny, you can do it. Hearing testimonials from my clients saying, you know, I woke up this morning and I felt so depressed because of COVID. And then I took this cooking class with you and I can't stop smiling. Hearing things like that just make me, even though I still wake up and I still have doubts, about, am I doing the right thing? Is this too much of a risk? What am I doing with my life? We all have these questions. But I think if you just be consistent, stay really authentic to what you believe in, and listen to the people around you, if you're on the right track, you will know. And I really liked, Don, how you said that, you know, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. One of my chef instructors has now become a very, very dear friend of mine. His name is James. I think he might be on this video. But he really loves this idea of kind of, you know, doing something and following a purpose, and, you know, finding real meaning in life and not forcing things to happen, just allowing them to happen. And another very brilliant chef instructor of mine, Nadia, she's a vegan chef instructor. For my birthday, she gifted me a book. And it's funny because James brought this up to me in a conversation, and then Nadia gifted me this book. And the term, I don't know if you've heard of it, John, is a Japanese word called Ikigai. Have you heard of it?
No. What was that?
Okay, so guys, go away and research the word Ikigai. Ikigai. It's my Japanese coming in practice. And it's a brilliant mentality. And it's essentially a circle. And it has 4 quadrants. And in each quadrant, it basically says, find something that you love, that you're very passionate about. Find something that you are good at. Find something that gives you financial support. And find something that helps people or works with people or is making a change. And if you can fall into each one of those quadrants, then you have found your sweet spot called your Ikigai. And essentially Ikigai translates, I hope I'm not wrong, into a sense of it's your purpose. It's your soul purpose, because you're ticking off something you love, something that you're good at. So say, for instance, let's give an example. I love, oh, sorry, my light just went out, John.
Oh, it's all right. Still, I can hear you.
We don't want to lose light. There we go. She's back. So say, for instance, what am I going to, tennis. I love tennis, right? I'm not very good at tennis. So it's probably not my sole purpose. I also can't really personally help people with tennis, because I can't physically help people with tennis. And it's definitely not going to make me any money because I'm just not good enough at it. So even though you might really like something, if you're not going to be able to financially support yourself, help someone else, and kind of be very good at it, then it's probably not going to be your soul fulfilling purpose. But for me, okay, so having my own business in a food world, right? So I love food. I'm very passionate about food, and I love being an entrepreneur. I'm good at it. I'm actually really good. I know things about food. I'm very passionate about food, but I also kind of know about food. And I know, well, I'm learning. I'm confident in running a business. So that's the 2 things. This business helps me make money, and it helps me stay financially supported. So that ticks that box. And the biggest one for me is this business is helping others. It's doing something for others. It's not a selfish act. It's a selfless act. So for me, it's like right now I found that Ikigai. So I'd love for anyone that watches this to ask yourself those 4 questions. And if they're not, you know, answering what you're doing right now, maybe think, what am I good at? What do I love? What do I think can make me money? And what is going to be helping others as well? And perhaps you can find your Ikigai as well.
That's a very good principle. You gave me the very, very interesting principle not for me, to anybody who would like to identify who you are. You can get an extra of you. It is something like that. You do the SWOT analysis, right? You do a SWOT analysis, your strength, weakness, and opportunity, stretch and identify. Then you know, exactly. You know what you are and what you are looking and what you are good at, what you want to change, something like that. Ikigai, that's right.
Ikigai.
Now tell me, Ikigai, that's it. Now, Penny, now you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you are a CEO, and you're a founder of your own company called Drool. Let's talk about Drool and how much change that you made, and how much impact you gave to individuals through your Drool, especially in Australia. Let's talk about, especially in this lockdown. I'm definitely sure it's a 360-degree change. Let's talk about the personal messages, the inbox messages, personal contacts, emails that you get, even though sometimes you don't publish them, but I'm definitely sure you made someone's heart into very warm and deep place with your business. Tell me about it.
Thank you, Don. I'm very flattered because we have achieved that. And that's why I know that this business is on the right track, because we are getting such amazing feedback and we are literally helping people and giving them something to look forward to and making them really happy. So essentially Drool. So the company is called Drool and it's based in Melbourne. And we are a food experiences and events platform. So essentially, I want this business to grow so it encompasses all things food experience. But right now what we offer are things like cooking classes, wine tasting classes, cocktail making classes, cheese making, baking, whole lots of things. One of the things that's most important about this business for me is we are so lucky in Melbourne and in Australia that we are a very multicultural nation. We're a very multicultural community. And I am a really big storyteller. I love telling stories and I love sharing stories. And so for me, and Don, that's exactly what you're about. So when I meet someone like Don, he has a really strong and passionate Sri Lankan background. I don't know a lot about Sri Lankan food. I've never been to Sri Lanka, but spending some time with Don in his kitchen and him imparting some food wisdom, culture, cuisine, insight, fun facts, everything to me almost transports me to Sri Lanka. And it gives me this newfound understanding for the food, the cuisine, the people. So this is what I love with Drool, that we have this ability to transport people, whether it's in person or in your own homes. We can take you with a very authentic chef to another place. So that's really important for me. Last year, so I'll let you guys know, I'm talking about business like I know what I'm talking about. I know a bit more what I'm talking about right now, 18 months onwards. But if you'd met me last April when I founded this company, I didn't know a whole lot. So what I did before we launched our event, so from April to July, what I did was I studied. I went back to study and I took all the online webinars, all the online seminars. I talked to people in business. I talked to female founders. I listened to fantastic podcasts. One of my favorite podcasts is called Lady Brains. It is a podcast interviewing successful female founders, mainly Australian female founders. And it's brilliant because it gave me so much inspiration and motivation, and also just really important lessons. Introduced me to apps like Canva. Oh my goodness, Canva is an amazing app if you run a business or a profile or a social media page. It's amazing. So I basically shut myself in a room and I studied and I took all the webinars to learn the basics of how to start your own business. And I asked all the questions and I took the risks and I made mistakes. But by July, I felt ready and confident that I'd built a team of instructors. I built some venue contacts who were going to host these events in. And 2 days before the launch, the grand launch of Drool was going to be a cocktail making class to 40 people, and it coincided with my 30th birthday. So I was going to launch my company on my 30th birthday. And 2 days before the launch, Don, 2 days before the launch, we went into a 5-month lockdown. Lock it down. And I just went, no, all this months of work, all this motivation, everything to go into a lockdown, like what? Which meant all the venues closed. I couldn't hold my events at venues. I couldn't see my instructors. They were all out of work. So I thought, my entire business model, everything that I'd been working toward for months, down the drain. But I always say from the very beginning of this interview we had, the universe works in mysterious ways. For me, even though COVID is the hardest thing that has happened in my time, my generation, and it's been devastating to so many people, I feel like I knew I had to make something of this opportunity. I thought, no, I'm not going to give up. I have to be resilient. I have to, we love this word from COVID, pivot. You have to move. You have to think on your feet and you have to go, let's make something of this. And I feel like a lot of people thought, oh, COVID, oh God, I don't know. I just give up. I'm just going to give up and I'm going to go into my shell and I'm just going to deal with it. And that's okay because everyone needed to listen to themselves. But for me, I was like, hang on, I haven't done months of work and dreaming and giving up on my career, moving home from New York to give this all up. I need to do something different. So I thought, okay, well, I've got the chefs. They can do it. They're stuck at home. So I need to give these guys work. At the moment, they're not earning any money. They're out of jobs. So how can I support these chefs? And we still have people that want to learn how to cook. We still have people that want to learn all these things. So how do we do this? So we pivoted the business model and we took it all virtually. And we started delivering our classes via Zoom. And it was the biggest blessing in disguise, Don, because this is how the business model runs today, predominantly. And we have not just worked in Melbourne, which is where we were going to do the in-person events. We have now become an international company. I have run events virtually in New York, in India, in Singapore, in UK, all over the USA. Like, we have now become an international company because we've been able to do virtual online events. So honestly, it's just been this wild, crazy ride. I never expected this business to turn out like this, but you just have to listen to your gut and you have to believe in what you're doing. And so now we've hosted hundreds and hundreds of events, and we've made a really lovely nest egg of revenue so that we can offer our in-person experiences. This year we were able to offer our in-person experiences, and they were just the most beautiful things. We offered them in venues in Melbourne, and people were learning how to make dumplings and mozzarella cheese and pizza and Sicilian cannoli and vegan pasta. And we were meeting these people in person. And I think the most beautiful thing was some of the customers that I'd actually gained and met through the virtual classes loved it so much that they kept coming to the virtual classes. And then when we started doing the classes in person, they came to meet us in person. And they were like, hi, do you remember me? I took your virtual class last year. For me, it was the most moving thing, because I was like, wow, the support of these people, but the genuine love for this brand and this company has been amazing. So look, it's been very tough because every time there's been a lockdown, we've had to cancel all our events, give credit notes, give refunds, go back to virtual. Okay, now we're coming back out of lockdown into real life. Okay, so back into real life it is. Oh, no, we're locked down again. Cancel the events. It's been a constant seesaw, up, down, and that's been very draining for me, my chefs, my venues. But look, at the end of the day, it's like you have to adapt and you have to stay strong, because I have created a company where it's so much more than just Drool now. Like, it's more than just my company. It's so many other people that we're touching and involving, and that's where we are at right now. So your question was, has it been hard? Has it been easy? It's definitely not been easy, but it's been worth it because of the customer feedback, the amount of lives that we've had an effect on, and the positivity we've spread. It's been the most beautiful journey, and it's just going to keep going. So I'm very grateful for everything that's happened to get where we are right now.
Amazing, Penny. I know that personally you're dealing with top-notch companies, big companies, I would say, big names in Australia. So how this business, in the sense state-wide business into island-wide, and then going forward to international business, just operating from your bedroom or the lobby or the dining room, isn't it?
It's literally, I put my ring light in front of me and I'm standing in my kitchen. In my old house, my laptop used to be on a footstool, and it's hilarious. Like, if you see the behind the scenes, it is just so manic. Dee, my beautiful instructor, Dee Williams, who actually introduced us, Don, another amazing.
That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about her, I want to talk about Dee in big time, because she's currently watching us. Thank you so much, Dee. And hi, Dee. Because Dee is the one who introduced me. Dee, everybody knows she's the queen of MasterChef. Such a wonderful soul and such a wonderful friend of mine. I met her actually in person in last April. From the day we met, we were good friends, and she introduced Penny to me. And such another entrepreneur. Now she started with her own business name, Delicious, that her spice brand, and now she's coming up with the Christmas goodies. So likewise, these are the true entrepreneurs, the true warriors who comes, whether it's rain or shine or night or day or lockdown or lockup or whatever you name it. they
Yeah.
goes with the right blessings and the right determination. So that's
Yeah.
really good. And how you diversify the business into next platform and adapt to that situation and get the best out of it. Now I'm teaching a lot of international students. They're struggling to get their PR. They're struggling to get their family members back to Australia, and they're looking for better opportunities. Now, especially as a individual who started your own career and own business and own success, Penny, what sort of a message that you can give for a beginner who just come to the country and hit with the COVID and living alone and studying, working, less rest? What sort of a nugget and what sort of a nutritive value, what sort of a passion that you can give to he or her?
Well, first of all, I take my hat off to you all and I give you a round of applause because you have so much strength and resilience, and you should be so proud of yourselves that you are conquering this. And you know, it's hard. It's so hard. I mean, when I even lived in New York, which was an English speaking country, I struggled. Like it's such a culture shock, and it's so different, and how you have to adapt to the culture and the community and the language and everything. So, I mean, bravo for really integrating and making an effort and giving something a try. I think the message here in my interview with Don is really just follow your dreams and really take some risks, because I truly believe life is too short to not give something a go that you might look back and regret. So well done for what you're doing, and keep going. And I'd love to give a very great example, Dee, as we were just talking about with Don. So Dee was an international student, came from Sri Lanka to Melbourne, and you know, started studying within a hospitality and a hotel industry. And gosh, that would have been so hard, and again, so new. But Dee was always really passionate about food, and she's a people's person. She's very you know, she always is very inquisitive, always asking questions, learning, just wanting to soak everything up. And what I loved about Dee was she loved the show MasterChef. And she was so in love with this show that, you know, she told me that, you know, her English wasn't great when she first came, and she was learning, and she knew she had to kind of fulfill her studies before she went on the show. But her passion and her dream was always to go on this show. And I love telling this story in our classes, because I always get this idea that MasterChef is very competitive, and you have to have some sort of background, you know, in cooking, or you need to be a pastry chef or something to get onto MasterChef. And it's not the case. Dee was a passionate home cook, and she just loved food. She had a passion for food, and she had this rich culture, Sri Lankan culture, that she wanted to share. And so she followed her dream, and she auditioned for MasterChef. Now, I love that this isn't a fairy tale. It's like, yay, she auditioned and she got in. No, that's not what happened. She auditioned, she didn't get in on the first try. So a lot of people then would go, oh, well, it's not meant to be, I'm going to give up. And she didn't do that. And she waited, and she kept practicing her culinary skills, her English, everything. And she auditioned the next year. And again, she didn't get accepted the next year. So once again, she just kept persevering and learning. And then in the following year, she auditioned. And I love this as well. One of the things that Dee auditioned with was her Sri Lankan crab curry, right? And the other dishes, she told me, were kind of a bit more westernized and something that she thought MasterChef wanted from her. But actually, when she cooked her Sri Lankan authentic crab curry that told her story on a plate, that is when she landed MasterChef. And I think that this is a nice analogy for your international students. You've come here with a big dream. So work hard, follow Dee's example, and just keep persevering, keep trying to better yourself. And if you've got a dream, follow it. Don't stop until you get close. And if you don't get it, figure out why you're not getting it. Why is something not working? Okay, go back, keep working on it, keep persevering. Because eventually, if you are going to be your authentic self, as I say before, tell your story, be true to who you are, and just be honest and real and raw and follow your dreams, a door is going to open, I guarantee. So just, yeah, I think that's my advice.
That's so good, Penny. You just gave such a live experience to the right element to apply to the right way. Now, I'm definitely sure person who speak with you on the first time fall in love with you without any doubt, without any second, because you are such a glue, such a tonic to anyone's heart.
Thank you.
Penny, like Dee introduced me to you. Now tell me, you are blessed to have surrounded by wonderful trainers, wonderful chefs with your business. Can you
Yes.
tell something about your variety of flavors, variety of cultures, variety of talents around you?
Yeah, I can. But first, I want to say how I found these people, because a lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, you have MasterChef contestants on your team, you have Michelin star chefs, you have Cookbook Earth. Did you get
Authors?
people? And you know how I got them done? I simply asked them. So during lockdown, I had this mentality of, I've got nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. You know, I can ask someone if they want to work with me or if they want to be involved with me. And the worst thing that can happen is they say no. That's fine, because not meant to be. All good. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. All good. But you have to try. And so I literally just found people that I loved, like Dee, like Joe, like James, like Pia, like Nadia. And I just asked them, and I just went, hi, this is my business. This is my dream. This is my passion. This is what I'm trying to create. Do you think that you want to be involved with this? And Don, I literally had no one turn me down, because I just was so genuine about the service I wanted to offer. And I really was like, this is my heart and soul. And they could feel it, they could hear it. And they were like, you know what? I do want to get involved. I do want to share my story. I do want to like share my love of food. I do want to help people and make a change and all these things. And so this is why I'm so blessed with these amazing people on this platform, because they're not just chefs. They are beautiful, wholesome, talented, personable people that want to share their talent with others. So I'm very humbled to be surrounded by amazing people, because they continue to inspire me and teach me. Like every cooking class that we have, like in Don's cooking class, he showed us how to make flat rice noodles from scratch. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, you know, how long is this going to take? It took like 3 minutes. And I was like, oh, and everyone in the class was like, what? So it's amazing. It's like, you know, these inspiring people that just, you know, these people who want to teach others. And yeah, it's more than just kind of like, oh, I want to be on your platform because, you know, I want to get the Instagram followers or the attention. No, these people are genuine, passionate foodies that really want to inspire others. And this is what our platform is about. And this is what I'm about. So yeah, I really think that if you are doing something authentically, people will follow. People will want to be a part of what you're doing, and they will want to support you. And I could not have done everything I've done without the support of my team and our customers as well. So yeah, it's been a really beautiful journey.
Absolutely, absolutely, Penny. Now, the people who have who's watching right now might think that I know Penny for many years, and we have met each other for many occasions.
Seems like that,
Billy,
doesn't it?
we never, yeah, of course, but Billy, we still haven't meet in person. We
Yeah,
still haven't met in person, but still we have very good heart condition, in the sense like the attack, the attractions, and the social media, and this
yeah,
platform, the web platform, gives us
yeah,
so much of connections. As you mentioned, there's no barriers in languages, there's no ethnic barriers when you have a real interest to become someone. So as you listening to Penny, definitely for sure everybody will digest, and everybody will admit that if you have a willingness to come out of your box and achieve your dreams, that's the platform, that's the way you want to do it. Now I'm
definitely.
definitely sure we have some excitement when the doors open to have
Yeah.
the in-person class. Yes,
Yes, we're very excited. That is where the magic happens, because I think
that
this platform, it's all about connection, and it's all about making a personal connection. And Don, even though, you know, when you said that we've never met, funnily enough, I'd actually never met any of my instructors last year. I worked with them for maybe 5 months, 6 months, and I actually never met them in person. But because we were doing all of these virtual classes, I felt like I knew them. And as you said, we had this really strong connection. So when I met them in person, I was like, oh, you're taller than I imagined, or you're shorter than I imagined, or, you know, oh, it's like I've known you for years. And it was just this beautiful kind of reunion, but we already knew each other. But yeah, and this is why, like, the in-person experiences, I'm very excited to bring them back, and also to just kind of bring a whole range of other experiences. I mean, I'm dreaming big here. There's a lot that can come under this food experiences umbrella. But it is possible because of that connection, you know, and I feel like, you know, there's only so much you can connect over a laptop screen. And so I make every effort to make sure everyone on Zoom is included. You know, we always make sure to say, okay, you know, Darren, how are you doing with those dumplings? Or Joanna, like, that pasta dough looks a little bit wet. Chef James, what do you recommend to make her pasta dough a little bit better? So we always try to, like, establish that connection and make sure that everyone feels very included, even if it's over a screen. But when it's in person, that's magic, because the person is in front of you and you can, you know, touch them and you can talk to them and you can have that real genuine connection. So yeah, I think connection can be made in many different ways. But it's passion, it's storytelling, it's sharing your craft, and it's being genuine. And I think we do that over virtual and in-person events.
Absolutely. As humans, we all are social animals. We like to have the connectivity. We want the networking. We can't live alone. I know that so much of people are going through with a bit of a hard stress because of their, most of the people who are living alone, especially in Melbourne or Australia, they're living alone. Then you have a really hard time because they're adapted to the connection and the networking and involved with people. So don't worry, we are opening the gates and we have a good back to live. And I'm definitely sure, Penny, we have a colosseum of thousands of hundreds of people watching one fine day a live cooking show where multiple chefs are doing wonderful cooking show. Now I can see your dream is much bigger, like the top-notch entrepreneurs like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, how they started their business from the garage or the living room. Now they are billionaires.
I'm literally living that right now. I am doing this business from my kitchen table, like, very literally.
But you're going to the world from the kitchen table. You're addressing the world. You're talking to the world. So that's what everybody dream big and focus big, and you just spread the love to everyone and be in your authenticity. Now, looking at your eyes and the way you speak, Penny, your authenticity signifying every little word that you say. So I'm definitely sure all of you are watching, or maybe you watch the recording of this video, definitely would accept what Penny says and of course apply to your life. Application by listening to a person who's really just telling the truth and with her experience definitely make our life into the next level. One final thing, Penny, if you want to just give some advice or just a comment or maybe some open information to anyone who's watching this video with your life stories and experiences, what you have, anything that you want to add lastly?
Life is going to do this. And it's a road, but it has lots of little roads off it. And it's constantly going to challenge you, and it's constantly going to test you, and you're constantly going to feel a bit of self-doubt. And there are times that you might feel like a bit of an imposter. Can I do this? Is this right? Why is the world crumbling around me? Why aren't things working? And I think that you really need to, let's go back to the Ikigai, the kind of your purpose. Try to really listen to yourself and be like, okay, life is short. How am I going to make something of this life? How am I going to make a change? How am I going to make myself happy? How am I going to make someone else happy? Really listen to your deep, deep self and figure out your dream and follow your passions, like Dee, like Don. Persevere, you know, really follow your passions, make it happen, because I never thought I would be at this spot in 18 months, never. And I'm so excited for what the next 18 months looks like, you know. And actually, Don, I want to leave these guys with something, and it's something that I really learned from. So I had a business mentor earlier this year, and he's been absolutely incredible to my personal development. And he did this amazing exercise, and I'd love you guys to just think about this. Picture it in your minds. So he went on a whiteboard and he took a marker and he drew a very long line across the whiteboard. And he put a line at the end of the line, he put a dot at the end of this long line, and he said, this is birth. Yeah, the start of the line. And then at the end of the line, he put another dot and he said, and this is death. And he said, okay, so your first kind of 18 years is studying at high school. So this is already set out. Or, you know, maybe for some it might be 16, maybe it's a younger education. But the first bulk of your, you know, first youth is generally education. And then let's add another, you know, couple of years. Maybe some people go on to university or a trade or something. So you add another couple of years on before you are kind of early to mid 20s. So let's put a line at early to mid 20s. And that's when you enter the world of career, right? And then he said, when do you want to end your career? Like, do you think you're going to be someone who wants to retire early, you know, maybe like 50s, 60s, or maybe you want to like strike gold, retire at 30 and like really make it? And he's like, or do you find yourself the person that like, you're not going to retire. You're constantly going to find ways of working and doing things and changing. And I said, I'm going to be the latter. I'm going to be the person that throughout my whole life of my career, I constantly want to be learning and teaching and doing things. So let's put the dot of retirement maybe closer to like 70s. And he goes, okay, so we've put a dot at the age 25. And then we put another dot at the age 75. And he said, you know, people your age are so hard on themselves. They feel like they need to have it all figured out. I need to have the job. I need to have the house, the partner, living the life. I need it all. And I need it all right now. And he said, but isn't this funny? There's 50 years between the start of your career and your retirement. 50 years. And that is a long time to figure it out. And you can have lots of careers. You can have one. You can have 10. It's 50 years to figure out what you want to do. So my biggest advice, and the advice that I really need to listen to myself and learn is, I'm a perfectionist. So don't put so much pressure on yourself all the time. Just strap in for the ride of life and just try everything. Give everything a go. Follow your passions. Don't live with any regret or anything that you're going to go, oh, I wish 30 years ago that I tried to start my own business, because now I'm closing to those years of retirement and maybe I can't do that like I could have. So I think just have that timeline in your mind and go, okay, I don't really need to have everything figured out right now. I've got a long time before my career, you know, might come to an end. So I think that's what I'd like to leave everyone with, Don.
That's amazing, Penny. That's a very, very good lesson. So not just one lesson, you have given every word as a lesson for all of us who are watching this video. And I know that the course of the whole day that you have done many classes today, and
Yes.
this is the end of the day. And I can see your energy, your passion and your dedication. You will never, never lose that until you get your passion to the world and you express your passion to the world and impact hundreds and thousands of lives. And definitely you're going to be such an amazing character that everybody loves you across the world until they still haven't heard about you. Millions of people still haven't heard about you. I'm definitely sure millions and millions of people would definitely love you in time to come, Penny. And I'm blessed to know you and be part of you. And I would like to give my sincere gratitude to the D. Williams once again, our Master Chef Queen. Once again, thank you very much, Dee. I'm still know that you're watching and you're part of the video. And yes, and one last thing. If anybody wants to get part of your classes and your platform, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a website and it is called droolexperiences.com. You can also follow us on our social media handle. It's called drool.aus. And I chose the name Drool because I think it's fun. Whenever I say, oh, my company's name is Drool, people are like, drool as in like to drool? And I'm like, yeah, to have like Homer Simpson, like, oh. And they're like, ah. And they smile and they laugh. And I'm like, yes. We've got this at the first go. We put a smile on your face, and that's what I want to achieve. So, yeah, droolexperiences.com. Come check us out. If you're in Melbourne, come and take a look at our in-person experiences. We'd love to meet you. But lastly, Dom, you've said many thank yous. I'd like to thank you because you are also a very rare individual. I think it's very rare to find someone who is genuinely authentic, genuinely passionate. It's not a show. I feel like when we finally meet in person, you will be exactly the man that everyone sees you on camera as off camera. And you have such passion, and you have this, you know, this willingness to share your craft and teach and share your story. And as you said, impact others' lives. And I think that that's why the stars have aligned through D and brought us together, because people like us will attract each other. So
Right.
I feel like, last little note to the community who's watching this, be your most positive self. Even when you're down, put on a brave face and a big smile and just be yourself, because just like me, you will attract people like D, people like Don. You will bring in positivity if you exude positivity. So go and do that.
That's
Big
awesome.
love.
Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you so
My
much,
pleasure.
Penny. Thank you so much. The day become Drool is like Google is not gonna long. Okay? The Drool is gonna Google. There
We'll
we
see.
go. It's similar.
Hopefully.
Drool,
Big
Google,
dreams.
Drool, Google. Big dream
Google,
is
Drool.
gonna become a reality. Thank you very much once again, Penny.
Thank you
See you
everyone for
later.
watching.
See you tomorrow.
Looking forward to seeing you in person.
That's right, sure. Bye-bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you.